Hey guys, and welcome back to the Cigar Box Guitar Builder. I'm trying a different maybe way of showing what I'm doing at the moment. Hopefully this light's not in the way. Get a little bit of light on the situation there. Alright, so this is a guitar that I'm currently working on for stock. I'm doing this in between doing my customer orders, and what we've got here basically is a 3-string cigar box guitar, but it's not a cigar box, it's actually a handmade box. So with this I've actually done a ply box. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, it's a 5-layer plywood sides, 3 ply top and bottom. This will get a brace across here. I'll actually put in a plywood brace just there. This is the sound holes that I use. I use the sink strainers for my guitars. It's kind of become a bit of a me thing. What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to show you how I position the bridge and the pickup. Now I've got a pickup ring which I use to do the layout on the pickups that I use, and I'm using a steel bridge. This pickup, these are from CBGitty, and this is the pickup ring that I'll be using. But before I mount this, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a couple of grub screws, and to keep the top in place. There's one there. I always keep my the parts that I'm using in a little box just close by. That way if I need them, I'm not going to lose them. There we go. So I'm just going to screw the top down here. Now these, I'm not worried about marking the corners of the box, and the reason for that is that I'm going to have box corners on the top and the bottom of this guitar. There we go. All right, now the very first thing you're going to need is one of these meter rulers, a long ruler. I use millimeters. It is a 25.5-inch scale length, which is 650 millimeters. Now you'll notice that what I've done is I also use this when I'm centering or laying in the neck as well. I'll usually measure from the edge to the tip of the ruler here, and as I run this all the way down, I'll do the same here, so that I know that when I set the neck in place, I should have the same distance from the tip of the ruler here to the edge there, and from the tip of the ruler here at the back to the edge of the box here. Same idea, same principle, and please excuse the mess on the bench. I might just move you guys around to this side here. There we go. If that helps. Just don't want to. All right, so you can see a little bit more of what I'm doing. Again, the desk is a mess. Yes, killer strings. You know, I use killer strings on my guitars. Thank you to Steve Harvey for his support of our channel. There we go. All right, so again, what I've done is I've lined up here at the 650 millimeter or 25.5-inch mark. I run this down straight, and I'm going to now place my bridge in position. But here's the trick. I don't. Again, I'm just double checking. Always double check. Double check, double check, double check. All the time. Now, I'm just going to see if I can bring you guys in. I can't. And this one, unfortunately. Okay. I'll do this in production. I don't set this up right on the edge of the ruler. And the reason for that is it always, I come back about 3 millimeters. Always. So it's actually measuring at 650, probably 653 millimeters instead of 650. And what I find is, and I'll probably even need to bring the saddles back a little bit again. Now what I tend to find is when you're setting the intonation at the 12th fret, doing this compensates for pressing the string down. It just works. So for those people who are struggling with setting their intonation, give this a try with your bridge. Set your bridge back a little bit off that point. This also now gives me more travel on the with the springs and the screws at the back. So if you need to come back a little bit further to actually get the intonation right, especially on your heavy string, it will really help. You just want to make sure that everything's behaving itself. You are just so much better off being a little bit pedantic here. I'll hold that in place, just making sure everything's okay. And even when I'm eyeballing it, what I'm doing is I'm looking for key points. And one of the points I'm looking at is where the ruler is actually touching, or here on those recessed holes. And I'm really happy with where this is now. So I'm going to press down. And I'm just going to move everything out of the way now. Making sure I'm trying not to scratch the finish on the guitar, which I'm not particularly worried about, because it is a cigar box guitar. All right. And I don't mind my cigar box guitars to have little bumps and tiny little bangs and things like that, because I just think that's all part of the aesthetic, the way it looks. All right. Get out of there. There's my hole punch. And you're going to say to me, Adam, if your desk was tidier, you would know where your hole punch was. Yes. You are correct. One. That's not going to work. It's too blunt. There's my goddamn hole punch. Ah, here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's not doing its clicky thing at the moment for some reason. Doesn't matter. All right. So I've got 4 spots there now. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's a 5. Why the 5? I'll show you why. First things first, I'm going to drill for the bridge screws. I use a 2mm bit. Straight down. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's a 2mm. Then what I do is I get a 3mm. Why do I get a 3mm, you ask? Well, this is for the earthing wire. What I do, come down, angle, I come straight through there. There we go. Straight through. And there we go. Just clean that up. Now that's the first things first. That's that. Now, you'll notice at the moment, I don't have a hole in the back here for the output jack. I will be drilling that in just a minute. Okay. Same thing coming up now. We're going to put in all the details and all the things we need now for the pickup. Now, the dimension of this box what I've done with this is it's very difficult for me here in Australia to get the Monte Cristo boxes, and I'll show you what I've done. This is a Monte Cristo box, and I used to use these boxes to do a series of guitars called Lightning Boy guitars, and where I used the back of the guitar. This isn't it. This was I butchered this basically to make a 6-string guitar for fun, and which I've since disassembled and discombobulated. But this was the type of guitar that I really enjoyed making and had a lot of success with. And it was all the same. Every single one of them, people could order these online and stuff like that. Now, I can't get these boxes in Australia anymore. I certainly can't get them at a price which means that I can buy them in bulk. I would love to be able to do it again, but unfortunately, I can't. So, being that life is what it is, and human beings being what we do, we adapt. So what I've done is I've built my own. I love the colour. I think the colours are a really nice match. But as you see with cigar boxes have got scratches and dings and bumps and things like that. So the same thing happens here. I'm not trying to pass this off as a cigar box. There's no clasps, there's no clamps. There's no, it's literally, it's a guitar. It's a 3-string, basically a 3-string electric guitar. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to do exactly the same thing, but this time I'm going to do it with the pickup. Again, I'm going to use this to help me center the pickup and make sure that the pickup is mostly straight. That's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm just checking here again. Always come back to this center ruler, because this is where you're going to find center. Okay. Here we go. We're in. Okay, so we've got a nice match here. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my ruler, and again I'm in millimeters because I'm here in Australia. This is what we do. I've got 2.9 and I'm measuring 2. That's good. Yep, I'm happy with that, and I've eyeballed that, and that was perfect. Take the ruler off. Take that away. Now, again, I'm looking at here. If I need to do any final adjustments, this is when I'll do it. Okay, I'm going to put in a mark there and a mark. There it is. There it is for that. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my pencil. There we go. Take that off. Okay. I'll keep that because I'll use it again the next time to put in the next pickup. Okay, so what am I going to do now? I am going to cut this hole out. Now, I'm probably going to tape this up. Why am I going to tape it up? And I've got some fluff there on the bench. The reason I'm going to tape this up is because I'm going to use my Dremel. Now what I don't want the Dremel to do is to rip paint off. I'm using this because I'm worried that the Dremel, the friction caused with the Dremel to cut the holes in the timber, is going to burn the top. I don't particularly want the top burnt. Why am I pressing this down onto the carpet? Because I want to take off some of the tackiness from the tape. So it doesn't, when I take the strings off, take the tape off again later, it's not going to rip the paint finish off. And this tape is very tacky. Here we go. Giving a little bit of give around there. Okay, here we go. Got the Dremel. Here we go. There it is. All right, let's see. Hopefully I haven't scored or burnt. No, that's all good. There you go. So you can see I've got scorch marks on the tape there from the friction, but I do not have scorch marks on the pickup itself. On the top. So next thing I want to do, sometimes actually, let me show you what I do sometimes. What I tend to do is I'll use this one to actually set it in place. So there's one there. And what I'm doing is just basically just making sure that I've taken enough timber enough. I've taken off enough timber. And now you're going to use a number 3 drill bit. One, two, and I'm going to run these screws down. Into the body. So at this point now, I'm going to take off the 2 grub screws. These will be put back in later with 2 more on the other corners. That just stops the corners vibrating, even if I'm using box corners. The box corners aren't there to hold the hold things together. Now, on these guitars, I'm only going to be using a volume control. I won't be putting a tone control on. And I'm actually a big believer of using the volume in the beginning of the sweep as a tone control. Because when you do that, you drop a little bit of treble to earth. So if you do want, if you've got a pickup that's a little bit peaky, a bit spiky, what you can do is actually there we go. Make sure that's down the bottom just for ease. This way. There we are. CBGitty sell these pickups, and the mini humbuckers tend to be a little on the microphonic side, depending on who you get them from, and they're all a little bit microphonic, I think, which is actually kind of a nice thing, because I think it's pickups, when they're a little bit microphonic, have got quite a bit of personality. And they really suit, I think, blues playing, and there's that fun scratchiness about them. And there we go. All right, so that's not correctly at the height that I want to use at the moment, but it will be. There we go. Nice and shiny. And yes, if it's nice and shiny, it will show up every single finger button. All right.